Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of whatever this is. Uh, it's actually interesting because later tonight I might be actually meeting the two fans we have of this show, whatever we're doing right now. They're actually my friends from Dubai, but they studied and now are working in the US. So I'll hit them up. I'll get some YouTube reviews. We'll see
Tell
how
them
it
to
goes.
spread the tell them to spread the word.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting my fans for the first time in a few months now. So it's going to be a good time. Uh,
Honestly, I'll take a second to just say that I feel like maybe we're really dropping the ball on the marketing. We should probably try to market a little bit more, especially with friends, family, and then also expand out from there. I think we should probably think about that as well.
This is something that I've been struggling with for a while. Actually, is the fact that I feel too shy to market this. I don't know.
Same, same.
I just don't feel
Honestly,
like pushing it. I just want the algorithm to pick it up, and then hopefully we get carried from there. I don't feel like spreading the word for whatever reason. It's really weird.
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean because I didn't like even Murtaza. I was like to him that day. Spoke to us talking to him on the phone, and he was just like, "Wait, what podcast are you talking about?" He's like, "I'll ask you about this later." So he was so confused. And I mentioned to Hassan too that, oh yeah, we're doing this podcast. By the way, to any viewers, these are some of our friends in NJ, New Jersey, USA. So, and he was like, okay, you guys are doing the podcast, but they might know it's about One Piece, but they don't know this. This this might be for all groups of people, if not One Piece.
Yeah, I mean, this can be another topic for another day as well. Just like struggling with this, just sharing it. Uh, but yeah, I know that Hatim has got back from a fresh haircut. Looks good, and his sweater looks nice too. He's sitting on the floor now, so we can't see the sweater much. But before, it was looking pretty dope.
Oh, like the haircut, you mean?
The haircut and the sweater.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to just sit on the floor. I feel like it's a little bit more comfortable for me to sit on the floor, and it makes it even better when I start on our topic today. I need to go on a little rant.
The floor is yours.
So I just setting the scene for everyone listening to anyone who listens to this. So the other day, my wife and I we go to Barnes and Noble. I've been to Barnes and Noble many times over the years, and I've seen they have different genres. Everyone knows. For those who don't know, Barnes and Noble is a bookstore. They have tons of different types of books, fantasy, young adult, yada yada yada. So I'm looking around and I notice that the Hispanic, the Libros Español, for anyone I'm butchering that, I'm sorry if you think I'm butchering it, but my point is where the Spanish books are, the books in Spanish, there's no political science and philosophy section. What happened to, there's literally one book section. There's more romance, young adult, mystery, everything than political science and philosophy. Now I know Hussein's probably like, yes, so they're gonna sell what they want to sell. I'm sure that's exactly what he's thinking. But I'll tell you right now that the issue is where's people getting the ideas. If you're too busy reading romance, when will you read philosophy? You want to read your Aristotle, your Descartes. There's one section. Political science. How are you gonna understand politics and everything? How are you gonna understand it? There's no options for books anymore. And I just wanted to see who said what do you think? What do you think about that? Because I was pretty upset.
I've been a philosophy uh, wannabe in the sense that I want to get into it. I've been wanting to get into it for a long time, but I just never started. And it's sad to see the decline of it. But like you said, money is money, bro. Like they need to find a way to make their money. And in general, I think bookstores sales are going down. I don't have the numbers and statistics for it, but like it's pretty obvious. Everything's online. We YouTube videos nowadays. When I wanna, I know this is kind of cheating, but if I want to read a book, I just go on YouTube and search book summary, and then it just tells me the key points of the book, and then I'm like, okay, cool, in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
So, oh yeah, you just
yeah,
you continue your thought. Continue your thought.
and I've never cared too much about politics. It's been more of like a reality TV show for me nowadays. Like anything goes. This guy said what? Oh my god. Haha, that's it. That's all I think
I
about
mean,
politics.
I know, for a lot of people, okay, a lot of people, and I want to just address those two topics. I mean, this video for our viewers, if you are interested in hearing more about this topic, then yeah, or we might just make a video because it is an interesting thing. But I don't. We have another view, another topic that we do want to discuss. So, what I will say with that one, your first thing is you're right. I understand from the logic of a business perspective that you also want to sell the books that people are getting. The only issue is that bookstores or any place where you can get a book, you really want to foster people's intelligence. And again, this is why I was talking to you before about talking about education and our views of education, because I think that would be a really nice topic for people around our age and even people who are younger than we are. And additionally, I want to say, like, I understand the YouTube thing too. Like, trust me, I do watch videos where people are talking about certain things on YouTube, and I do take what they say for face value. It's not like I don't. However, the issue does become that what you're reading, you have to read the material yourself so you can understand your own interpretation. Like, for example, even for Harry Potter, let's say you read Harry Potter, right? Your experience and impression of what's going on in the story is very different from your friend or your parents or whoever else is reading it. And that's the beauty in a book, is understanding that interpretation of the language, of certain words, of certain arguments people can make. If you go on YouTube, you can find a bunch of people making Harry Potter theory, and you'll be like, well, it's a book, there is what it is, but people's interpretations, understanding is very different. So when you're talking about politics and philosophy, there's so many different understandings because everyone's human, so there's so many different interpretations that you can get out from it. My third address will be for what you're saying about politics. Like, I understand, I'm not saying people need to necessarily force anyone to pay attention to politics in details, because I understand that certain things people do are very off-putting and it doesn't bode well, but you have to be knowledgeable about politics, just the reality. You have to know who's in power, what's going on, and understanding philosophical ideas, because the philosophical ideas will allow you to make a decision, an objective, rational decision about what people are doing. Like, for example, Trump. Trump says, just a very general thing, not to stir controversy in this episode, but Trump said, I want to stop immigrants from coming, illegal immigrants, right? Now, if you understand the philosophy of immigration itself and what makes immigration and what makes the borders and what makes a country, a nation, then you start going from there and you can make an objective, okay, does what Trump says make sense? Including additional facts. So that's the philosophy and the politics, understanding those statistics. So what I'm getting at is that you have to have those philosophical, the theoretical understanding to make an actual practical opinion about what's being said, statistics and values. And along with that, you just need to be aware of politics. Like, unfortunately, it's just the reality. Everything has politics in it. Every single thing has politics in it. So you need to be aware of what's going on. It's hard to be aware of every little thing, but you just need to be, at least on most things, you should be at least somewhat knowledgeable.
The thing is, when you say politics, when someone says politics, they go into world government politics. But the last point you brought up, politics is everywhere. I think the concept of political science, like probably what you studied, is more of a book that you could read, which you could apply in your everyday life. Like, there's politics in your family, there's politics in your workplace, there's politics on the street. Like, I think that's what you're trying to get at, right? Not just politics of like the world government and the prime ministers and presidents, but like everyday politics. Managing those kind of politics is what's difficult.
Right, you're correct.
And more practical. It's more practical than just like worrying too much about the leader of this nation said this. What's going to happen next?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, like what you're saying, it's true that I'm mentioning everything, and what you said exactly. There's politics in your family. There's politics in your workplace. That's literally how Aristotle would view politics. He says it's in everything. It's in your friends. It's in your family. It's everywhere. Politics is a social thing that exists. It's not just politics. When we as a regular, the layman person uses the term politics, and they said you're being political, They're viewing it as, oh, this guy's being deceptive, this guy's being dirty, this guy's playing games to get ahead. That's generally, not everyone, but that's a very general view of politics. Now, politics is more than that, and politics can be used to better society, which is also something Aristotle would argue and some other philosophers would argue for him. But understanding, and I know we're going a little longer than I hope, but what you're saying is I understand the perspective of other people, but my main concern is you just gotta have those values available to people. People need to learn it because you just need to know. You don't have to study it like every single day, maybe, but at least be somewhat knowledgeable. In fact, maybe you do have to study it every single day. I take that back because it's always ongoing.
But who's walking into bookstores anyway nowadays? Like, the younger kids aren't doing that much. Like, whenever I walk through a bookstore, all I look for is the manga section, and they have cool like One Piece and Naruto chapters.
Yeah.
That's all I look at, and then I move on. Like, who's actually going into these bookstores? If your agenda is to uh, get people more educated on politics and what do you call it, philosophy, I think it goes back to marketing, right? Like, if a company wants to sell their product, they're not gonna go to a place that has less footfall, less eyeballs. They're gonna market it somewhere where more people are gonna see it, more eyes on them, like on Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever. So I think if these book publishers really wanted to spread the awareness on Socrates, Aristotle, how to be a Stoic, all these kind of philosophies, I think it's much more efficient to have influential people online cover these books and spread awareness like that. Like, for example, the only influencer I know on YouTube who's talking about philosophy in like a meaningful manner is PewDiePie. And when you think about PewDiePie, you think about a random nerd who screams at horror games and shits on people. So it's surprising, but like a person with 100 million subscribers, if they can cover philosophy and politics, that's much more effective than having another, I would say, shelf in Barnes and Nobles with a book about how to be a Stoic, or like Socrates or Aristotle. That's what I think.
I mean, again, I understand that perspective too. Like, obviously, again, there's like Wisecrack too, right? So Wisecrack is a channel that I love watching. And recently they just talked about the college debt crisis and whatnot. So I think that people, if you're interested, check that out. It's about a year old, but it's very interesting. And they have a lot of interesting stuff, and they talk about topics that you might not necessarily find a book about, which is fine. But you, again, reading the book, it's the engagement of actually reading the first-hand material makes a big difference. And
No,
it's,
so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, PewDiePie, I didn't explain it properly. I guess PewDiePie has like, he used to do this thing called book review, where I think before the month started, he would tell his subscribers that I'm going to read this book. You guys have like X amount of time. Go check it out, ebook, physical book, whatever. Then check back with me within a month, and then I'll post the video. So then they can engage with the video like that. I think that's a much more meaningful way of engaging with the world on philosophy and political science.
oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. You that can be a very big. That's a fair argument to make, because obviously he has so many followers. My issue is then though, like a lot of people like reading. Like me personally, like I don't always get books, but sometimes having the physical book in your hand is nice. Like just being able to read the actual book in your hand instead of, reading it online. Sometimes people don't like reading online, and it's always nice. I feel like it's always nice to have the book. Personally, I think it's like a better experience reading the book when it's you actually have the physical copy. But if you think about it, they're still hindering people's objectives. I mean, yes, everyone has Amazon, but still, like, just to go to your Barnes and Nobles and kind of just even read a little bit and to check it out. Maybe I guess the libraries might have it, but I don't know the situation of libraries. But I would just feel, again, it's a popular place that people go to. For me, again, Barnes and Noble is literally 5 minutes away. So it's a very accessible place compared to maybe where, and the atmosphere is a little better than going to the library, which can be kind of,
Wait,
like, a lot of people don't like going to the library.
There's a Barnes and Nobles in Metuchen. The only
There's a
one I
Barnes
know is in
Noble-
New Brunswick.
No, there's a Barnes and Nobles in Edison too. It's in Menlo Mall.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was like,
So
how is New Brunswick 5 minutes away from you? That's not
yeah, that's actually a
close.
better point that I'm making though too. It's in Menlo Mall. Menlo Mall, a mall. You know, you never know. Sometimes when people read and see the actual book, it can be catching to the eye. I've seen books in Barnes and Noble. In fact, I got a book from Barnes and Noble that's about philosophy that I never knew about. Just on my own. Like I would never know, and I haven't seen many people look it up online. And plus, this is a and I think we should end it now because the next topic we have is a good one, and one that I really like want to mention. But I want to say that we can keep this for another time too. That people on YouTube only get videos mostly of what they already like. YouTube's always giving them what they want to hear or what they want to learn about or what they want to see. So it's kind of hard if you're not into philosophy. It's like a circular thing. You're not gonna look at philosophy again unless someone outer source or someone your friend or someone has pushed you to look into that.
I mean, look, for the sake of the topic, this is pretty interesting. We can do the one we have in mind for another day as well. But like, uh, the thing about the recommendations page is that's become the algorithm for all social media. It's not just YouTube. Any platform will feed you what you want to see. So I think that goes back to my previous point as well. Like, if you're already following a famous influencer and he happens to start looking into philosophy and all that stuff, then it's just gonna help the people who are already watching the videos get into philosophy. So like I'm talking about like me, like if I was in charge of Penguin, the book company, Penguin Publishers, right? And if we have books on philosophy, my business strategy for that would be to go to uh, YouTubers and people who you think could handle the content. You give them the book, and then you tell them to like give a book review or like do something online with it, and just start the conversation like that. I think that's worth more money to me rather than Barnes and Nobles, because with Barnes and Nobles, I don't know how much you have to pay to keep the book there. Is there any renting? Do they buy it from you? I don't know the business model with Barnes and Noble specifically. So that's what I would do. Like PewDiePie aside, like maybe, and I know Mr. Beast is always in the conversation, so he's not someone that you could, if you don't have a budget, then Mr. Beast is someone that might be too much money. But like any of these content creators who you think these self-help content creators, all these guys who already are into this kind of realm, you can give them the book and they can review it for you and all that stuff. It's much more feasible that way. That's what I think.
I yeah that so yeah if we're gonna say that, okay, fine, by your logic you're saying Barnes and Noble is somewhat justified, but there's better for the promotion of, because my complaint is that they don't have the books, right? So your argument is you know people who want to promote the philosophy and political science books should do it through YouTubers because they're the best, most influential people.
YouTube or TikTok, like okay, my algorithm's kind of skewed because on YouTube and TikTok I get like self-help stuff a lot, and like a lot of times I see like top 5 books that you should read in 2023 that will change your life. If you could sneak your book in, make it a paid promotion kind of thing, no one's gonna know.
Yeah, but you're I understand. Again, what you're saying is true. The only issue is like for a lot of books, right? Let's say if I wrote a book and Penguin is publishing it, like I'm always there to push Penguin to push the book and get it like you know read by people because I want to make money, right? But like for people who's like Aristotle, like he's dead. Like his work is in the public domain. Like no one's he's not coming to tell them, hey, promote my book. Like he's not there. So that is one challenge that I feel like you can be kind of tough.
But it's on Penguin to make the money, right? I'm not talking about Aristotle at this point. I'm talking about Penguin as a publishing company. I don't know who writes
Yeah, but
who writes the books for Socrates and Aristotle nowadays. So I don't know. But like Penguin's just an example.
I mean, yeah, but Penguins are really good at, because again, Penguin makes a lot of money and they have a lot of books. Like I don't know what Penguin's incentive would be to, if they have a printed. I think they do have a printed copy of some of Aristotle's works. Like, do they have much of an incentive to promote that? I don't know. So that's a very interesting thing to think about, because if I'm getting Penguin and I'm getting all these young adult fiction that most people are gonna read, I would worry about promoting that first. Who cares about Aristotle? It's about
Yeah,
for
he's
them. It's
dead.
about the money. Yeah, he's
He's
dead.
dead. There's a new guy. Well, I guess you could take someone new, like Joy Boy. He came up with another book. Joy Boy, for those who don't know, is a One Piece YouTube creator, and he came out with a book. So if Penguin, for example, picks up that book, they know that the One Piece fans might watch it because a lot of people in the One Piece know Joy Boy. So they might prioritize that over someone who's dead.
That's true. Yeah,
Like it's
exactly.
just
Like,
simple. Yeah. At the end
I
of the day, I
mean,
think it's just a business decision for Barnes and Noble, which is upsetting to you, obviously. But like,
it is.
yeah,
I was
this is
worked up, but Xanabo had to tell me, she's like, relax, just go in the corner and relax because I was complaining the whole time.
so. What did you pick up then?
Oh, I didn't get anything.
Then why'd you go to Barnes and Nobles?
Oh, Xanab wanted to get a book. She was just looking around to see if they had anything because they had like a sale.
Uh, I mean, so for the viewers today, we were supposed to talk about the war on meat and if it's what's happening. I think Hathem's rant was more passionate, so I couldn't let the fire die. And I
Yeah,
think
I
the
mean,
flame, and I think the flame is starting to die down. I think Hathem's over it now.
I'm not over it. It's just that there's so many other factors that contribute to into this that I don't want to get to because I would actually rather keep it as its own episode, like in terms of education. But I will mention this before we might want to end it, or however we want to if we have any other thoughts, is that just public education needs to step up and promote these things more. Like for me, I got more interested in philosophy in senior year, junior year of high school because that's what my my teachers chose to teach and have in their curriculum. So you really want to promote those things because you want the expansion of people's mind, and this is a very controversial thing because a lot of people feel, oh, I want to go to school so I can live in the real world. Other people have the perspective of you want to go to school to expand your mind. Now this topic I definitely want to address more later on, so I'm not going to go into details. But yes, for political science and philosophy, you're talking about influence. Yeah, public schools need to make sure it's in the curriculum. I feel.
Anything goes down to the grassroots level, bro. Anything that you need to raise awareness goes down to the very, very basic introductory level. The
Hey,
education
maybe
system is definitely another video, but maybe what?
yeah. I was saying maybe when we have about 100,000 subscribers, we tell them a book every month that they should read, philosophy, political science, whatever. So they and so we can get them to, read more philosophy, and I'll say one other thing is that even for you, you want to get into philosophy. Well, you got a philosophy major right here. I don't have a PhD, but I at least did it bachelor's degree wise.
If we're going to recommend the books, then I also would need to read them. That might be a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, trust me, I know. And that's a whole nother story in itself. When you want to read something, and then because our attention spans are so bad that we just keep switching through. But that's a whole nother topic for another day.
I kind of like how the rant became its own video. Thank you for taking your burden off on us, Happy. I really appreciate
I'll
the rant.
I'll tell you right now that it was a good episode. I just think that I really want to save a lot of these other nuanced topics for another day. I just wanted to complain about Barnes and Noble, so just back then I went to 23 minutes. I really was thinking only 10. And the war on meat, I'm definitely passionate about that, and I'm ready for that too. If we don't have time today, then another day to discuss that because I love my meat.
That sounds very wrong, and I want to end it on that note. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Like, subscribe, and peace.